Xavian.
Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire was released on March 29th of 2024, or as of recording this, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. This film continues on the MonsterVerse story as we get into brand new things and brand new ideas, and oh man, did I love this one. What's going on, guys? Jazzy Butters 2 here, and today we are going to be doing a non-spoiler review of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. Now, this, again, I will state, is a non-spoiler review, so before I get into anything, first of all, go see this movie for yourself, because I'm telling you guys, this is worth it, okay? This is some fun monster movie madness right here. I went to go see the film twice myself. Unfortunately, I had to go see it twice because the audio was out for my first screening, so I went back a second time. But even then, seeing it both times was such a fun thing to do and such a joy to go see with friends. But without further ado, let's not keep this going any longer. Let's get right into it, shall we? Starting off, we do actually have to go over the characters. Now, granted, there's not a lot of new characters in this film, but I will say that most of the returning characters are from Godzilla vs. Kong, such as Dr. Andrews, Bernie, and Gia. And they all make an excellent addition to this film, as this is truly one of those MonsterVerse films where it feels like the characters aren't dragging down the story. Recently, we got that with Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla -1, so I'm glad that we were able to get that for the New Empire. All the returning characters seem to be having so much fun on the set, just seem to be having so much fun throughout the story, and I love what Adam Wingard really did with this one. I will say, there isn't really much change to them, however. They are basically themselves, and I think that's okay. Honestly, there's no big arc, so I wouldn't expect that. But, you know, they're just the human characters. But one thing that they definitely do not bog down is the monsters in this film. Godzilla and Kong absolutely take priority, and they absolutely take the starlight as the main leading characters both on the poster and throughout the entirety of the film. So don't be scared that if you're going to go see it, you're going to be bogged down by human stuff. The humans amplify it, and the two big monsters that we all love and know definitely have their good parts for the film. Kong especially, as he goes throughout this new arc, and you could truly see how his story evolves. Godzilla is just Godzilla, and that's the best part about him, man. I tell you, whenever you see this movie, he's like a giant angry black cat. He just wants to go to sleep, and he wants everybody to screw off. And that's what I love about him. Plus, the new characters like Trapper, a human character, and Scar King, and some other kaiju in this movie are also very cool too. Granted, only Scar King out of all the new monster characters really gets a personality, but everybody else is a nice addition, and they truly do add on to the sense of scale in this universe. So that is very much appreciated. And to add on to it, the main villain of this film, Scar King, is actually really cool as well. He does a lot of things in this film that is really impressive, considering the past villains, and he just really steals the spotlight for some of his scenes. He is such an energetic but fun and menacing character. He's actually evil. I wouldn't say that he's no King Ghidorah, but man, is he like, he's close. He's second up for best MonsterVerse villain in my eyes. Next, we have the story, and without going into spoilers again, here's basically the synopsis for it. Godzilla and the almighty Kong face a colossal threat hidden deep within the planet, challenging the very existence and the survival of the human race. Now, I will not lie, this is not breaking any grounds exactly in terms of MonsterVerse stories. This, I feel like more than the other MonsterVerse films so far, it's a very crystal clear story. You have your point A, you have your point B, and then you have your point C. Your first act, second act, and third act. And I can't even really say that this is bad, because this just makes the film just feel more straightforward, and honestly, it just makes it feel more fun. It's okay to have some simple stories sometimes, and granted, there are some twists and turns and hidden messages whenever you watch this film, but overall, I think this structure of just having the premise, the second act, and then the final piece really does work for this film. However, One thing that I will criticize about the story is it did feel too short. I believe that this is the shortest MonsterVerse film so far. And you could definitely tell with that at times. And I feel like if you increase the film's runtime a little bit more next time, you can establish a lot more things. Because while the story was good, there were some things that were a little bit lacking in some areas that I wish could have been explored a little bit more. Now, what wasn't lacking, however, was actually the action scenes in this film. Oh my god. Let me tell you, The New Empire is probably, and most definitely actually, the most time the monsters have ever had in a MonsterVerse film. There are so many action scenes in this film from beginning to end. It's actually insane. And all of them deliver really, really, really well. The fights with Kong in Hollow Earth are really cool. The fights with Godzilla are really cool. The round 2 with them both is really cool, as you would see in the trailers. All of it, including the fights that aren't even shown but are in the movie, they're all just so cool. And I really gotta praise the people who worked on this film and the fight scenes for this. They also used the monsters in a unique way. They made sure that their personalities were used in different fights, kind of like Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, there is one thing that I have been noticing with criticism, and it's that the monsters are too fast whenever they fight. As you notice in Godzilla 2014 or Godzilla King of the Monsters, and even in Monarch, the TV show, you'll notice that the monsters move really slow. But in Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla X Kong, they tend to move faster than usual, and it feels like they have less gravity. However, whenever I saw this personally, it felt like the monsters actually still had weight to them. It's mainly just because most of the fights in this film, I believe, don't exactly take place on the surface. And whenever they do, granted they are faster, but from what we know, they are from the monster's point of view. It would make sense because if you have a bunch of fight scenes in a movie and they were directed like 2014, they would arguably be slow and like 10 minutes long. But, you know, again, that's up to your personal preference. Go see the movie if you can. I thought the action was done pretty well. And now we're going to get on to the controversial part that a lot of people have been talking about, the VFX and CGI. Now, I won't lie, a lot of people have been saying that the VFX and CGI for this film have been dodgy, to say the least. Granted, this film was made off of a budget of an estimated $135 million USD. I will say there are some spots that look a bit off at times. Like, you could just kind of tell that they're a little bit off. But overall, I'd say that the VFX and CGI are pretty good. Like, it is amazing what -1 in this film have been able to accomplish with such a low budget. -1 especially. But this film, I'd say for $135 million, featuring a lot of monsters, this is a pretty good budget right here. And I think the CGI actually does look really well. I think it'll age nice. I think it's on the same quality as Godzilla vs. Kong. Godzilla especially, like, his CGI is nice. Like, it matches in both films, I believe, and Kong too. Now granted, don't get it confused. Things will seem smaller. The characters will seem smaller, but that's mainly just because of environments and whatnot. So don't get that confused. The CGI is good, and all the stuff that they add to the film, like the hovercraft vehicles and whatnot, those are cool too. But overall, I gotta say, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire is an experience. And it may not sound like it whenever I'm talking about it, but you just have to see the movie to understand it. This is a very special film. And I really love what they did with this one, as it's arguably my favorite MonsterVerse movie to date. And I thought Godzilla vs. Kong would keep it that way. But no, this really went above my expectations for a MonsterVerse film. And I just enjoyed it. However, I will say this. Online, even sometimes in person, I know a lot of people do bring up -1 into the conversation in a negative manner. And while -1 was good, what makes Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire so good is that it's not Godzilla -1. It was never gonna be Godzilla -1. And I think that's the beauty of it. This is just a fun film where monsters fight each other, humans have some good arcs from here and then, and overall, it's just really good. And especially after seeing Megamind 2, this movie did cure my depression a little bit. But yeah, Godzilla Minus One is Godzilla Minus One. Godzilla X Kong is Godzilla X Kong. Both two different movies, but they're both very good in their own aspects in their own rights. But hey, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Non-spoiler wise, of course, don't spoil people in the comments. Did you guys enjoy this film? What'd you think of it? Let me know. Yeah, I'll see you all next time. Peace.